Welcome back to the Lisbonian Lifestyle. I'm your host, Igor Kafetz. In this episode, I'd like to talk about burnout because burnout is real. And ever since COVID, I think burnout has become even more dominant in our lives because we have lost this fine line between working and resting. And if you're working from home right now, you've probably been feeling like there's no more black and white. There's just basically one gray mush. So, in this episode, I'm going to give you a few tips that you can implement right away to eliminate some major burnout if you're suffering from it, or to prevent it if you're not suffering from it just yet.
I'm Igor Kafetz, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the podcast for anyone who wants to build a wildly profitable email list working from home. If you'd like to make six figures, travel the world, and help people improve their lives in the process, this podcast is for you. I also invite you to claim a free copy of my best-selling book, The List Building Lifestyle: Confessions of an Email Millionaire, at igorsbook.com. Get the free book plus $3,000 bonus package that includes my best capture page templates, email swipe files, and traffic blueprints. Visit www.igorsbook.com for details. And now, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
I remember experiencing major burnout when I started making about $250,000 a year. It was a really good time for me. I was up and coming in the industry. I was making about $20,000 a month, and I was loving it because, just to compare it to where I was at the time, $20,000 a month was about double my annual salary in Israel at the time. So I was virtually a one-man operation with maybe one other assistant or something from Lithuania, which I ended up firing later because I found him stealing my leads. And I was doing everything myself, almost everything myself, and I was making great money. And I really thought that's the way. But what I didn't consider is just how difficult it gets when you realize you can't really take any days off. And what's interesting is I loved the idea of working from my laptop. I loved the idea of not having to commute, but I barely had time to breathe. I ate at my computer. I slept next to my computer. I even spending time with my, at the time, girlfriend, who will soon become my wife and the mother of my children. Even spending time together was next to a computer because I couldn't afford to take my eyes off the ball. I remember going to a restaurant with her and whipping out my laptop in between meals so I can change a link or redirect a link because there was no one who could do it for me. And it really all came kind of crashing on me when I didn't even notice that Anastasia just left. This was crazy. Like, she actually left because she called me for something or she wanted to know something, and I completely ignored her that day, that night. And she just said, "You know what? I'm done." And she just left the building. And I only discovered that 6 hours later when I was done working or, came out to pee or something. It's embarrassing to admit, but I was so focused on what I was doing. I was so obsessed with it. And I was such a control freak that I just didn't pay attention. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole spiel about she's the reason why I live and breathe and blah, 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 blah. Like, I still wake up in the morning and I love what I do. And even if we were to separate, I wouldn't kill myself. I wouldn't do that whole drama thing. I'll figure out a way to live my life and I would continue to do what I do. However, it was becoming a bit toxic on my relationships, both with Anastasia and my parents and my friends, which at the time didn't really have any friends because I was working so hard and I didn't really have time for anything other than my work. So what really helped me battle this burnout situation where I was working around the clock and I really felt like I was going a million miles an hour and still falling behind, constantly chasing my to-do list and constantly trying to put out fires, was coming to realization that I absolutely had to start hiring people, and that yes, no one will do it the way that I will. No one will be able to do it as good as I will do it, and no one will care as much as I will care. However, it's inevitable. You still have to bring people in to replace you and to give you your time and sanity back. And I really used to think in terms of dollars and cents, where if I'm paying someone a salary and they're not bringing at least double that amount of money, I should get rid of them. But that's actually incorrect way to think about it. What you get back when you start building a team is the ability to think. Because for me, one of the biggest problems with burnout is not physical drain. It's not physically being drained or being tired all the time. You can be that and not work. For me, those are not connected. Plus, I'm working behind my computer. It's not that I'm like shoveling horse manure all day. It's a relatively easy job to just place your ass in a chair and type. It's not a big deal, but it is a brain intensive kind of work. So if your ability to think is damaged because your mental bandwidth is constantly occupied with everything else other than the important things, then that ends up hurting you and you get stuck. And so for me, the moments when I'm most burnt out, even today, are usually the moments when I hit a plateau, when I hit some kind of glass ceiling in my business. And usually that means I am trying to take on too much. And I've recently hit that point again where our business started growing because we released a new offer. It really took off, and I found myself doing a million things and really falling behind, with and starting to fail people. Right, that's actually a big deal for me, where I hold myself accountable to people in my life, be it people on my team or people in my family. But as soon as I notice that I'm failing, and I'm being my accountability to these people gets hurt, that's when I start looking outside and looking at what can I delegate. So I ended up bringing several new faces into the company. I brought in a JV manager. I brought in an outreach person, an in-house content producer person. We brought in more people for our internal team, and it helped to free stuff from my plate. And not in the way that, oh, now I have an extra 2 hours a day that I can sit here and do nothing with. No, it's more about being able to not think about certain things, which means they don't take up your space. Because in my understanding of who I am as an individual, in terms of my mental capacity or my battery, is I'm kind of like a computer with lots and lots and lots and lots of apps running in the background, eating up all of my operating memory. So if you're a geek, you know what RAM means, right? It's the operating memory that stores information that you need right now to keep running all your apps. So kind of like on your phone, if you've got a million different apps open, your phone slows down. Well, in my experience, my human experience showed me that for me, it's times 1,000. If there's more than 3 or 4 quote unquote apps that are running in the background for me, my brain not only slows down, my whole system, including my nervous system, starts shutting down. My back pain flares up. I'm physically tired all the time. I'm cranky. I have less patience. I basically become a different person, and that's something I don't like. I mean, I'm all for success and making money and being a big dog and everything. I'm as ambitious as any other entrepreneur. But if I do it at a cost of personal well-being, to a point where my personality changes and therefore changes the relationships in my life and my health, that's when I start questioning, am I taking on too much? That's how burnout shows up for me. So my best tip is to bring people who can take things off your plate. However, if you're just starting out and you don't have the budget for it, if you don't want to bring the people, then the only other best thing to do is to start saying no. It's to cut things from your day to day. It's being able to discern, okay, I've got these 5 things here that I'm working on. I have to get rid of at least 3 to get my sanity back, to not feel so burnt out and overwhelmed. And it does happen to me as well. Remember one time it was 3 years ago. I launched a project where I was teaching people how to build a webinar, and it was a great project. People paid me $1,000 each, so made some good money. But I quickly learned that between everything else I had going on, I just couldn't take on this one extra project. It was putting so much pressure on me that I just went back and I refunded everybody. And I said, hey guys, honestly, I just took on too much. Here's your money back. I do apologize, but this program is now shut down. You got your money back. And I know I kind of let you down, but I'm just human. I made a mistake. That's it. I had no backlash. I had no complaints. No one left me. No one filed a complaint to the Better Business Bureau or nothing like that. It just, kind of let go of that project. I never relaunched it. I ended up moving on to different things. But that moment, I felt a huge relief because I was like, it felt like a physical weight was off my shoulders. So these are really the two ways you can deal with burnout. In my opinion, I don't think dealing with burnout the way most people would do it, where they would go to like a 7-day vacation and disconnect, but they come back to the same chaos. So what exactly, you didn't really solve a problem. You're kind of trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, because you're basically saying, like, I'm going to not think about it for 7 days, but I'm going to come back straight into it, straight into this hell. And do you think you're going to feel better? No, probably not. I really think that your inner battery deserves a lot more attention than most people would give it. And the burnout can create a long-lasting stress and health issues that you really don't want to deal with.
Thank you for listening to The List Building Lifestyle. Get access to the previous episodes, transcript of today's show, as well as other exclusive content at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. Also remember to claim your free copy of my best-selling book at www.igorsbook.com. It explains how I made millions with list building starting from scratch. Plus, I'll give you $3,000 worth of free bonuses, including my best landing page templates, email swipe files, and traffic blueprints. Go to www.igorsbook.com now to claim your free package.